Well, hello and welcome to my room and to Prague. Unfortunately, we cannot be walking around Prague right now, so I am live streaming from my living room, or as my dad calls it, the basement. I hope everything is running fine and ready. I just got a text approving from Honza. Unfortunately, he can't be here because he's at home. I'm at home. And today's live stream of the honest guide, of one half of it, of me, will be a walk through Prague through the eyes of our book. So I believe many of you have the book already. Actually, a lot of people ordered even today, which I'm grateful for and thank you. And I will try to go through it. In all honesty, my heart is pounding like crazy because there's many people watching already. I'm nervous when I see how many people are watching, and I wanna. I don't know where I was going, but let's get to the point. I will go through your messages through the chat. I will eventually get to it after we go through the book, and also. And this is in any ways not an endorsement or asking you to donate through the super chat, but if you do so, there's the best surprise. So just wait for someone to do so and you'll see something really cool. Now let's get to our book. Let's get to why we're here today. I hope you weren't expecting something special. Also, I hope you admire my studio. I set up the little view of Prague. That's the teen church. It was on sale. My friend bought it for me in IKEA. I guess these things are on sale now. And you can also see a little ATM sign. That's just a souvenir. Fell somewhere. As they say in US, it fell off a truck. Anyhow, let's get to the book. Honest Guide book. Why did we make it in the first place? Well, if you're making online videos, you can't touch them. You can't give them to someone as a gift. You can't cuddle them. That came out wrong. But we wanted to make something that we can hold in our hands and give as a gift, and also sort of let you, our viewers, our subscribers, and we love you guys, by the way, and I'm sure you know it, something that you can take away as a present. Yet it is still a guidebook, but a different one. The side of it looks like this. Many people are surprised when they order it and they go, I got a bad book. This is wrong. There's something wrong with the binding. Well, believe it or not, it's fine. It's called Japanese binding. I want to get to the fact that somebody just sent the super chat. I'm going back here. All right. Well, if it's not working, I apologize. But there was supposed to be this coolest super chat animation. If it doesn't come up, I'll be so disappointed. Let me try it. I'm really sorry. Damn you, Streamlabs OBS. Well, anyhow, I'm really sorry, but there was this beautiful animation of me hitting the beer with the glass. I'm so disappointed right now, just like some people are with the binding of our book. But let's get back to it. I've actually highlighted 10 places in the book that I want to share with you right now. And I hope be able to, oh man, now you should have seen what just happened here. Can resist love from Scotland. Well, Jen, hello to Scotland. I'm so disappointed that this didn't work out. Let's get to the book. And here I have actually pictures that will be showing as I talk about it, and they're not sorted. So you've already saw a sneak peek. All right, the first thing we we show in the book is Paternoster elevator. I will be tempted to keep showing you the book, but you should be able to see it right here. I hope you do. So I'll read the text now. This is my first time reading the book out loud, so let's go for it. I'm so nervous, you have no idea. Once I was surfing through YouTube and I came across a video called Paternoster, Eastern European Elevator of Death. You can check, it's up there. It had millions of views. I was confused. That's just a regular non-stop hop-on, hop-off elevator that I remember from my childhood. Why would somebody watch a YouTube video of that? Well, as it turned out, after going through the comments under the video, people were amazed by it. Just like I am amazed when I see a skyscraper in New York or the mountains in the Alps. There are more than 28 of these non-stop running elevators around Prague, and many of them are open to the public. just steps away from the famous astronomical clock in the new Prague City Hall. You will find the most famous one. We have featured it on our show Honest Guide and have since turned it into a tourist attraction. Please be extremely careful when riding it. I have heard some horror stories from my friends who work at the City Hall about tourists trying to get on with a baby carriage and so on. Also, please keep in mind that this is an official government building. People work here, which means that they have the right of the way to ride up or down. And finally, if you are brave enough, and I'm sure your kids will be, you can do the loop at the bottom. Will you go upside down? You have to visit to find out. As I'm reading it, I noticed the animation for the super chat is working, I believe, so that makes me super happy. And I would love to say hello to Magdalena Waldmanova, which is the previous super chat donator. And Magdalena actually works at the City Hall. She's my great friend. She was working with us on the exchange offices. We were trying to help each other to figure out a way how to shut them down. See, I was talking about Paternoster, and here I am talking about exchange offices. But anyhow, Magdalena is the one who can confirm or deny that there were thousands of tourists going to ride this Paternoster elevator. Before I get to the next chapter, I'm not going to read the entire book because, you know, we still got to do business and we got to sell the book, just so you have the idea. I want to show you what the page looks like. There's no addresses, there's no contacts, there's nothing like that, because usually when I go through a guidebook, there's a phone number, an email, a website of the place, and I'm thinking like, these are all the things I can find out myself. It's very easy. I can go to, you know, the Google Maps or something, but the text that I'm writing is what I think can be helpful for you on your visits. So what you learn from this: do not put baby carriage on Paternoster. It will result in a catastrophe. Next up is Vyšehrad. I should also point out that the book was created by Honza, me, and our great friend Eliška Podzimková. She made the illustrations. So right now in the cathedral on Vyšehrad, you can see there's a guy peeking out, and on many pages of the book, you will be able to see these illustrations, and also the cover page is illustrated by her. So let's get to Vyšehrad. I hope you guys are having fun or enjoying it. Maybe not. Have you heard of Prague Castle? Of course you have. It may have been the reason you decided to visit Prague. Yes, it is beautiful to look at, but guess what? Locals don't really go to the Prague Castle. And not only because of the masses of tourists, but because everything is so expensive. There's even a little street there where you have to pay to get in. The only time we would go to Prague Castle is after 8 p.m. when it's deserted. Well, did you know there's another castle in Prague? Yes, it is called Vyšehrad. And if you want to experience where we go on a free Sunday afternoon, you want to head out there. A beautiful cathedral, a cemetery with the most of the famous Czechs buried there, a rotunda, amazing views, a kids' playground, and a huge park, and last but not least, a beer garden. From the city center, it is only a couple of tram stops away, or just a nice 20-minute walk along the river. Nice pub, beer garden, with the castle is called Na Hradbách. Stop in for a sausage or a beer that is 4 times cheaper than at Prague Castle. Sit outside, watch kids play, and you will even get to see the other castle in the distance. I really don't want to trash talk Prague Castle, but it sucks. And Vyšehrad rocks. And if you hate me now for telling you not to go to Prague Castle, read further, and I will give you one tip for it. When we decided to make this book, we decided not to mention or not to show Prague Castle and Charles Bridge, because we figured, hey, every guidebook has it. Cheers! Thank you for supporting through the super chat. And now you see the bloody sticker I was making, thanks to Pavel Kasík. Big shout outs to him. Back to Vyšehrad. Where was I? In Czech, you would say I lost my nit. I lost the thread. But I guess it's time to go to the next chapter. So that was Vyšehrad. Also now a very, very popular spot, Vyšehrad, due to the fact that the Czech politicians, one of the highest Czech politicians and the Ministry of Health, we're sort of on a lockdown. You can't go to a restaurant. They actually had a secret meeting at Vyšehrad in a restaurant there, only proving the fact that locals do go to Vyšehrad. It was a weird restaurant they went to. I'm surprised we never went there with Honza. Here we go. This chapter is called Cheap Food. Let me get right into it. I hope the sound is fine and everything. I guess if it wasn't, Honza would send me a text. Downtown Prague is pretty expensive. That may be true if you don't know where to go. But lucky for you, we know a place to go to and eat cheap. The true version of Czech fast food would be a jídelna, cafeteria. And there are still quite a few left. Take your tray, pick something from the menu board, usually pay around 100 crowns, around 4 euros, and try to find a place to eat your meal. One of these places is Lidová jídelna Těšnov. Finding a table there may be tricky though. Treat it like an offline version of Tinder. You will always sit next to someone and it will force you to talk to them. Another jídelna can be found right on Wenceslas Square in the Světozor passage. It used to be called Hell, but believe me, it is a little slice of heaven. Closest to Old Town Square, you can find Havelská Koruna. Keep in mind that all these places get quite crowded with locals during lunchtime, so be kind to them and go a bit later. And last but not least, wait, before we continue, you have to promise not to tell anyone, okay? There is a place that's actually up at the Prague Castle. Now, people, I was never expecting to read this chapter out loud to 780 people online. I was hoping only people who have the book will be able to. Now, this is like teasing for the book. I will read the chapter. I'll continue. So we're up at the Prague Castle now for cheap food. The place at the Prague Castle, the name of this place is No Entry, No Entrada, Zákaz Vstupu. Or, at least, that is what the sign out front says. You will find it right behind the cathedral. Walk in and try to look as much like a local as possible, since this is a Prague Castle's workers' cafeteria. For the price of one bottled water at the castle, you can enjoy a full-size meal, most likely sitting next to one of the castle's guards, or maybe even the president. Enjoy and keep it a secret. Only an idiot would put such a hidden gem into a book, right? Well, only an idiot would read it out loud into a live stream on YouTube. But I guess that's what we are. So there really is a hidden cafeteria at the Prague Castle where you can go, and if you pretend to be working at the castle, they'll let you right in. Honza is actually doing an amazing job moderating the chat, so thank you so much, Honziku. We'll be chatting together shortly. And this cafeteria, we've been there with Honza to test it out. It was delicious. It was a cheap meal. It was great. And I was wondering if somebody who bought the book ever tried it. I never got a message about it, but I hope someone did. I know Czech people did it. Just so you know, the book is in English and Czech as well. It's not just translated, it's written differently, obviously. And so in the Czech version, I'm just saying like, hey, wear the worst clothes you have and, don't have a backpack, don't have a camera. And I'm really trying to send people there. There's me hitting the glass again. Thank you so much. Dia Tarusina, thank you so much. Let's get to the next chapter. I will get to the chat, just so you know, once I'm finished with 5 more chapters. How about that? Right now, it's Upinkasu. The picture you see is actually Honza's hand. I don't remember if I took the picture or he did. And there's a climber climbing up onto the church. The church is not finished. It was supposed to be much larger, not in terms of height, but in terms of length and width. Kostel Panny Marie Sněžné, the Church of Virgin Mary. And next to it is a pub. Somebody wrote a review of our guidebook and said it's all about beer. Well, partially it is. Upinkasu. Well, you probably know that the Pilsner type beer was first made in the town of Pilsen in the Czech Republic. But when was it first brought to Prague? It was in 1843 to a pub called Upinkasu. This place has a cool story to it, and an amazing garden in the summer, right next to the church wall, and believe it or not, a one-of-a-kind lamp. If you want to find out more about the first Pilsner beer, go downstairs where the original tap is located. It's downstairs where it's colder. You'll find some great pictures there and an explanation of the full story. The garden is really something. Even in the hottest summer days, it is nice and cool because the church wall almost acts as AC. And don't forget that every time you take a sip of your beer, you will be looking up. The other thing to find here is the lamp. Most likely, it is the only cubist lamp in the world. There is much other cubist stuff around Prague. Just keep reading. And it also serves as a bench. But in all honesty, Upinkasu would not be my first choice to grab a beer in this area. I love how I start somewhere and then I just get to a different point. If you want something even more local, brace yourself, you will not be welcomed with a smile. Go to a pub called Ujalinku. It's the place where locals stop to have a beer or two after work, and the atmosphere there is hard to describe. Another place worth trying is restaurant Provaznice. In the summer, there's a decent garden and some good meals for lunch. But you know what? Why not try all three? You be the judge. The reason I wrote the other pubs is because I was once with my dad at the first one, the one you see on the picture, and the guy serving us was really rude. So my dad stood up and said, let's go to Provaznice. And then we went to Ujalinku. So that's the good thing about all the places I recommend. Usually they're in an area. So if you dislike one, you can just go to another. And sometimes people say that even a place we recommended, they didn't like. So it really differs. But usually they're happy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Next up, my favorite cubist coffee place I go to and I absolutely love. It's called Uchirana Matkiboji Grand Café Orient. Every time I sit at this place, I see tourist groups on the street and their guides explaining a lot about this building. And then they just walk away, never going inside. That's a big mistake. You can't judge a book by its cover, and you can't understand a building unless you go inside. This beautiful cubist building, Uchirana Matkiboji, is hiding an even more beautiful cubist coffee place on the first floor with a little balcony. As you walk up, pay attention to the amazing staircase. That's some Instagram material. In the summer, sit on the balcony and have a coffee or maybe a glass of wine. If you are craving some sweets, have their cubist vieneček. Instead of being round, it is square. Cubist, get it? Did you notice all the little cubist details like the chandelier or even the coat hangers? And if you feel like you are missing out on the explanation from the tour guide outside, just look all the stuff up on Wikipedia. The architect of the building was Josef Gočár. There is actually one more building by him on the same street. Try to find it. They absolutely do not look alike. And just to be clear, when I talk about the coffee place, I don't mean the one downstairs. I've never been there and I never will. The guys from Grand Café Orient consider me to be a regular, and that would be like cheating on them. Also, the gentleman that will serve you can also sign and stamp this page for you. We heard they like to do it. Just so you understand, this is the second edition of our book, so I was able to add little things to it. And I heard many stories from people when they would take our book and sit in this coffee place. These guys would say, "Can we borrow the book?" And people would usually say yes. And they would walk away and make a tearing sound of a page. And people would freak out. And then they would always put a stamp, sign it, and put a napkin on the page of Grand Café Orient. So these guys are absolutely lovely, and I love going to this place. In all honesty, I haven't been there in like half a year due to the current situation. Next up, I hope there's nothing crazy going on in the chat. Kind of makes me nervous staring that way. I'm skipping many pages, just so you know. The book is proper book. There's a lot of things. Next up, kuchyň, which is called kitchen in English. In Czech, it's kuchyň. See if you can find the little person hiding in the pot there. Also an illustration from our lovely illustrator, Eliška. So, kuchyň. Can we see the menu? Nope. But you can go look in the kitchen. That's the greeting you will hear in the newly opened place up on the Prague Castle called Kitchen. You'll see different pots. Just lift the lids and look inside. The chefs will be more than happy to help you choose something. Soup is served in a huge bowl for the whole table, and you can pretty much eat as much as you like. A shot of great liquor, žufanek, is complimentary with every meal, and please do not skip the dessert. It is so good. Be sure to make a reservation and sit out on the terrace. Yes, the food here is amazing, but the view? Priceless. In all honesty, we usually go up here with friends just to have a beer that is still priced at 49 crowns, that's below 2 euros, and sit on their little garden terrace, where you can sit in the grass and watch Prague. This area around the castle is, in general, home to the most of the highest priced touristy restaurants, with one exception, which is why we treasure it so much. After many, many years, Czechs finally have a reason to go to Prague Castle, and the castle is not the reason, it's this restaurant. Thank you. That means thank you to the restaurant. This was really something. When Kuchyň opened up, it was a game changer, because there was the weirdest restaurant. We've been there with Honza, and they were serving Heinekens in 0.3 glass. They were serving some baguettes, paninis, extremely overpriced, and then this place. The food was pricier. I don't want to say cheap, but it was definitely cheaper than the other places around or the previous place. And I was discussing with the people who run the restaurant their goal, and they really wanted to get Czechs and locals to go to this restaurant. So I said, you should price the beer under 50 crowns, because that will be a sign to the Czechs, here's a pub, like, come for the beer. And they managed to do that. So they were lucky enough to get a lot of Czechs. And I was there recently, a couple of weeks ago. The terrace was opened. They had more tables, and it was absolutely lovely. So this is the place I take people to. Hello from Australia. I met you and your family in July at the Dva Kohouti. Hi, Flo. I'm sorry I'm not reading all your messages, and thank you so much for the support. I hope you saw me hitting the glass, which I actually did in a pub, this GIF that you just saw, GIF. By the way, it's pronounced GIF. I just saw that. I believe I'm always having arguments with Honza. Next up, beer. This is like, it really is a beer guide. But I mean, I'm skipping like the parks, I'm skipping ice cream, I skipped a hop on, hop off, I skipped, where to swim in Prague. I'm skipping like the good parts. I'm giving you just like, teaser, trailer. And Honza is just, I believe, replying to people saying that the kitchen, the restaurant up at the castle, was closed. No, they're opened. If you are in Prague, if you're in Czech, you can support them by getting a takeout. How's my time? Good. Beer. When you go to Prague, you must have a beer. But where? There are hundreds, maybe thousands of great places. U Jelínku, u Pinkasu, u Zlatého tygra, Dva Kohouti. But it is impossible to name just one. It is actually very possible. Just go to U Bílé kuželky. But we don't want to see just one or two. Better, want to give you an idea of how to pick a place. Most places will only have one kind of beer on tap. It's quite usual in the Czech Republic. And we must admit our favorite is Pilsner Urquell. So here's the thing you can do. It's called the Prague Zoo. And it's basically bar hopping or tour de pub. It's called the Prague Zoo because most of the places are named after animals. Start uphill from Prague Castle at a place called Uchirného vola. Try to act as a local as possible, otherwise he will be thrown out. Happened to me. I was gonna say something personal, but it did happen to me. Walk down to Uhrocha, which is where our GIF is from. Don't even think of ordering a small beer. They'll give you a very bad look. Just around the corner is U Kocoura, and then our favorite, U Bílé kuželky. After you cross the bridge, try U Zlatého tygra. Our president, Václav Havel, took Bill Clinton there for a beer. And walk to Staroměstské náměstí and look for Ukata, cash and beer only. Ukata is, by the way, my recent favorite. Still thirsty? Head on to U Zlatého slona, and you can end at U Jelínku. Please keep in mind that all these places are very group unfriendly. Most will only take cash, and we treasure them very, very much. Of course, there are many modern places that serve IPAs and have a huge variety of beers on their menus. If you want to try a variety of different beers, we recommend going to see our friends at a place called Dva Kohouti. The place is actually a microbrewery, so try the one they make there. Na zdraví. It's funny how I wrote it, but I can't read it. I wrote it a long time ago. Oh, and I forgot to give you a new image. I'm so sorry. Now, are you guys disappointed? I am sure you are. So I actually took this image. Eliška added this lovely photograph there. And this page, more than about beer, it's about trying to get people to walk. Because what I just read is a nice full-day walk if you start at 1 p.m. You can easily end at the last pub in the evening. And as Flo, he's still here. There you go. Flo, when he super chatted, my friend from Australia, he met me and my family at the last pub. Only proving the fact that I do go to these places. I'm sure some of you may wonder if I go to places I suggest. Yes, I do. Let's go reading. Kampa. Kampa, oops, image. Here you go. The capital city of the Czech Republic is Prague, and the capital city of Prague is Kampa. At least my sister used to say that, as she spent most of her teenage years there. Kampa is an island that stretches all the way from Most Legí to Charles Bridge. In the summer, it will be full of people hanging around, having picnics, playing football, or just chilling with a drink. That would be me. One place to definitely grab a drink is Cavarna Malinska. It has a huge mill wheel at the entrance. You can take anything to go or just hang around inside if the weather is bad. If you stay inside, notice the cool-looking bar made by the artist that I mentioned earlier in the book that I didn't read. We once suggested this spot to our friend Carl Penn. Yeah, Carl Penn is our friend. And he loved it. So what more can I say? Another place where you can grab a drink or whatever is Domeček, a little house because that is what it is. Every Monday they have live music with a bunch of guys living in the area gathering to play. Grab a chair or take it outside and sit in the park. Closer to the river is Museum Kampa, and right next to it is a statue of Big Black Baby. We'll explain those later, also made by the same artist David Černý. And just past it is an amazing view of the bridge and bunch of yellow penguins. So you can see the picture, which is a picture that actually Honza took. And he posted it on Instagram. And Carl Penn, the actor, was actually in Prague then. And he wrote a comment under the picture, "Where is that?" And Honzik replied, "It's in Kampa." And a couple hours later, I guess, Honza got the picture from him. So we decided to put that sort of story in the book, and we really enjoyed it. I'm halfway through this. I hope so far you're enjoying. I will read two more chapters, and I would also like to say that this broadcast will continue on our Patreon. So dear Patreons, if you're already watching now, this is ready for you because I'll be opening this only with the Patreon, so we will have the chat more fun. And also the other part of the screen is reserved for Honza. So if you guys want to support us on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/honestguide. Also, if you are a Patreon or you will become one, you will find out how today I made these typical Czech buns. I didn't make them, but you'll see in the video. That was the Patreon. I'll see you at Patreon very shortly. Also, if you do enjoy the book so far, this is like a QVC, QVS. What's the call now? The lines are opened. Only 700 more left. So you can do so at our address, which is honest.blog. So if you type in honest.blog, that's our address, right? www.honest.blog. You can order the book there. If you actually order it today, it will be, we are sending the orders to the post office tomorrow. So today's the best day before it ships to wherever you are in the world. Obviously, it takes some time to ship it because some of you obviously live far, far away. Okay, for some reason I highlighted Zizkov Tv, but why not? If somebody claims that the castle is the most dominant structure of the city, they are dead wrong. The most dominant building there is, which can be seen from far, far away, is definitely the Zizkov TV Tower, the one that sort of looks like a rocket ready for launch. But it's not only a TV tower. This structure is hiding much more. A bar, a bistro, and a hotel. It is actually the only hotel in Prague that has only one room, so its name is literally One Room Hotel. But it's pretty expensive. One night would cost you around 30,000 crowns, more than 1,000 euros. When I was checking the price at hotels.com, it told me, hurry, only one room left. Well, obviously. But if you want to enjoy the view, you can visit the observatory deck for 250 crowns, or you can visit the bistro called Oblaka, and for that price, you can have a couple of beers and there's no need to buy a ticket. As you stand under the tower, look up and notice the black babies crawling on it. Those were put there back in 2000 and were made by David Cherny, the same one mentioned earlier. A couple of the babies can be seen up close on Kampa. So head out to Zizkov, not only for the tower, but also both of the districts that it stands in. Vinohrady and Zizkov are absolutely worth discovering. Now, a personal story to this tower. My mom has it right in front of her apartment. People hated it, people didn't like it when it was put up. And my friend, Ondřej Boháč, the guy you may know from our Bell video, actually projected a Saturn V, I believe it is, the rocket that held up or took up the Apollo 11 mission to the moon. He made an event where they projected the rocket onto this tower. It was amazing. It happened in Prague. I believe there's a video of it somewhere. There are pictures of it for sure. So if you want to see how that looked, it was really epic. And I believe he wants to do it now for a celebration of the space shuttle. Last chapter I'm going to read to you is about wine. And I'm not a wine person. You'll find out shortly. Beer. Wine? Okay. If you're more of a wine person, read on. In all honesty, I do not understand wines. I mean, I can tell red and white apart, but my expertise stops just about there. So these places are usually recommended to me by my friends, or based on how I like the place itself, in terms of atmosphere. Having said that, Bokovka, the place you see now, is definitely one of the nicest places to go to. It is not really easy to find, hiding inside a courtyard, but once you step in, you'll fall in love with it. The very kind servers will help you to choose the right wine just for you. It's fair to say that this place is on the pricier side of the scale, but worth every penny. Bokovka is not the only place hidden in this courtyard. Just across from it is a club called Second Floor, with different music events every day and definitely a younger crowd than Bokovka. But if you are like us and you feel like discovering cheap beer and dive bars, right next to Bokovka is a place called Sport Bar Pohoda. Just take a look. Another great wine place there we like to go is U Staré Studny by the Old Well. Not only is there wine, but also cognacs and great plates to have a small bite with your wine. This place is spread around in the cellars of an old building, so it's ideal for a romantic hideout. So this was Bokovka. You can see the red underwear that is hanging there. The reason it's there is there's a story to it. I'm sure some of you know, but the story behind it is that group of artists that I'm actually related to in a family climbed up on the tower of the Prague Castle and took down the president's flag, and instead of it, they hang this red underwear. I did an interview with the guy who did it, and he said, it was a battle for a flag. I'm a scout. This is my game. I absolutely do not want to get political, but I sort of understood it. The president didn't take it as a joke. He was very unhappy, but the guys did sort of took it as a joke. So this is sort of a reminder, so we can tell you and explain you the story. So that was our book. If you did like it, once again, you can head out to honest.blog. There are apps to have, which it really serves as a guidebook. Like there's apps to have, which will help you navigate around the city. Every place that is mentioned in the book is highlighted. Oops. So you can see what to type into Google. And last but not least, I'm almost forgetting this, I'm sorry, is that the book has these coolest transparent, whatchamacallit, I always forgot how we call them, transparent pages where you can put these, but you can put them not only on the page, but you can put it on like me, so the dog is now peeing on me. And people are actually getting really creative with this. And it looks really cool. So if you guys, oops, the other way around. So there's many more of these. You can stick it in front of your camera and have this dog pee on or whatever. And there's many more of these. Not only a dog, there's also this guy taking a nap in my coffee place. People sit him anywhere. I remember when we were putting up this book, it was a lot of work because it was Honza taking pictures, me doing the text, and Eliška doing the illustrations. This is a funny one. If you want to experience empty Prague, we also did a nice illustration of what normally it looks like, and if you wake up early in the morning, or now a COVID situation. Okay, at the end of the book, there's a vocabulary. So let me teach you the word that is there. The word is nejnezdevětadevadesátéroznásobovávatelnějšího, which means you can't multiply it by 99. So I always laugh at vocabularies in the book because I'm thinking like, well, I can just like look up phrases online, and it's much easier than to like read it here. So I figured I would teach you something in the book that they will not teach you anywhere else. Of course, it has a readme.txt. And last but not least, there are, if you're not interested in the book, then there are 2 postcards that you can cut out and write to anyone. Surprisingly, nobody sent us these. I was hoping somebody would actually send us this as a postcard. And of course, in the beginning, there's a map with all the numbers, and there's also a GPS location of where you're located as you're holding the book, just so you know. So you are here, maybe. But of course, every book is equipped with a GPS locator in it, and the front page refreshes. If it doesn't work, hit F5. So that was our book. I will now be brave enough and go into the chat and see what's up in the chat. And the chat's not loading, so I will open the chat up here. How about that? Is the chat loading here? Nope, chat ain't loading. Well, there it is. How about, will this one load? Because I cannot read it. Let's see if this one will load. All right. All right. There we go. There's the chat is coming up. I will try to read it here. So if there's any question you would like to have regarding our book, regarding the walk with our book, I would also like to say that seeing people walk around with our book is just something. When I first saw a person walk with our book on the street, I was like, that's our book, that's our book. And one time, and I'm not lying, I was sitting at Café Damu, which is the first place in our book. Let me show you. Oh, come on, Janek. I was sitting in this place, and there was a guy next to me, and he just bought the book. He walked outside, and he was reading, and he said, I can hear the guy's voice reading it in my head. And I looked at him, I said, I can read it for you if you want. I believe we got drunk that day. I'm living in Korea. Can I buy this book? Yes. You can easily order it at honest.blog, and we ship worldwide. Book plus GPS, please explain. It was a joke. I make stupid jokes, so I apologize. Do you support, I'm going to try questions regarding the book. What is the best brothel? Come on. I just said I'm going to answer regarding Prague. Yeah, but this is actually regarding Prague. I don't know. I've never been. Hello from Israel. Hello. Do you also include the Jewish quarter in your book? No, we don't. Unfortunately, I'm not a licensed tour guide for the Jewish quarter, but I believe we should eventually make a video about it. The book is as good as it can get. Wow, if that's somebody who actually has the book, well, thank you. How much is the S7 train to get to Petinka swimming pool? You don't take the S7 train to get to Petinka swimming pool. You take the number 22 tram and then you just walk. We made a video about it also in our book. Met you recently in Prague. Super cool. Well, probably not really recently because I'm quarantined. Hello from Slovenia. Hello to all the countries around the world. Hello to Philippines. Hello to Germany. Um, too many questions. I can't read all of them. Your channel has made me went to visit Prague. Reputation here is stagnates. You have showed me it's better. Thanks from Scotland. Well, Martin, thank you that you enjoyed Prague. And yes, the reputation can sometimes be that it's only stag parties and parties, but I hope that will not be happening in the future as the tourism will come back. Also, that's why I'm mentioning in the pubs that I mentioned that they are group unfriendly. I say that on purpose because I've seen a situation where a party of 20 people, a stag party, drunk, I don't want to say the nation, but they would storm into the pub and they were actually kicked out by the owners because he simply said, look, I don't want you here. You're just going to make a mess. You're going to destroy everything. Not in terms of like physically destroy something, but, you know, destroy the atmosphere. Hello from Washington, D.C. Hello to Washington, D.C. and good luck on your election next day. Will you make a video about Hradec Králové? I'm not sure. Glad to have you support Slovenian economy with your vids. How am I supporting Slovenian economy with our videos? I'm not sure about that. Hello from Portugal. Thanks, Michaela, if you're watching this, for offering me the Honest Guide book. She is my great friend from Prague, by the way. Well, that's very nice. I've heard a lot of stories of people passing the book along. Somebody even said, I'm doing bad business for you, Janek, because I bought the book and I'm going to give it to someone at the airport. Well, that happens. You really love your city? Yes, I absolutely do. Love Stag. Do you book so warning about all the scam going off and how to recognize it? Actually, not really. There is a page about the scams, but there's also, you will not need to worry about them because there's a know before you go page and there's like a do's and don'ts, and there's also the apps. So if you follow basically these two first pages, nothing wrong can happen to you in Prague, I promise. Somebody's writing hello from Vatican City. Come on, I doubt it, but okay. Hello to Romania. Congratulations on an excellent channel. I'm a huge fan of yours. I will certainly buy the book. You and Honza have added my enthusiasm and word for your excellent country. Regards from Ireland. Deburko, thank you so much. I hope you will come here because I really want to visit Ireland. And if you're planning a trip, you can always get the book in a bookstore. There's a map of bookstores where the book can be actually purchased. In about 10 minutes, I will have to disconnect because I will be heading out to my buddy Honza, who's waiting for me and Patreons to head out to the very much more private conversation we'll have because we'll have a couple beers over it. And I hope the Patreons are ready with beers. I hate Prague. Change my mind. Should I? I don't know based on what you hate Prague. So it's really hard to change someone's mind. Hello from North Korea. Okay, my version of book is different. Why? It is possible. So if this is read on yours, it's the version 1, and this is the version 2. Very little, tiny little changes in a text. And if you have the older book, it has one mistake in it where I mixed up the pap ukocoura a udvoukoček. I apologize for it, but it's not like I'm sending you to a really bad place. It's just not the one. Hope that makes sense. Man, Czech Republic should make you ambassador. We are ambassadors. We're the honest guides of Czech Republic. And thank you, Summit, if that's meant in a good way. How is the COVID situation in Prague? I think I can give an update on that as well. Everything's closed, or stores are closed, only supermarkets are opened, and they have to shut down after 9 p.m. I'm actually myself COVID positive now, believe it or not. I know. Should I have said it? I don't know. But I'm quarantined and I'm home. I have no symptoms. I'm fine. So I should be fine. I've been quarantined for a while. How much does the book cost? It's 15 euros or 389 crowns. If you do pay by PayPal or via card, that's the fastest payment and the book will ship the fastest. But if you're coming to Prague, you can, as I said, pick it up in one of the bookstores, and we usually sign it in the bookstores. We will try to figure out a way how we can eventually sign a big bunch of books for you, but that can usually happen if you come to Prague, you take the book, and you find us on the street, and we always love to do it. And since the books are stocked nearby, I will, when I take a new batch to the post office, I will sign them. All right. Hello from Denmark. Hope to visit Prague again. Lovely city and people. Is English understood well enough by locals within Prague? Sort of. Do Czechs understand Slovakian? Yes. What's your favorite tourist destination other than Czech Republic? Well, I don't know. I'm trying to find some question that may be easy to answer. How many books have you sold? I believe more than a couple thousand. And I made a map where I showed all the places we sold our book to, and it pretty much covered the entire world. So I was really, really happy about it. There's a person in Alaska who has our book, and I must say that Alaska is my dream destination. So I was really happy that this piece of paper made it to Alaska before me. And I really feel like I should text the person from Alaska because I have their email if they can take a picture of the book with like some Alaskan background. Are you planning to shave again? I don't know. Are you funny? Of course I am. What kind of question is that? All right, let me see if there's any question. Just starting watching your YouTube videos, you're legend, Paul. Thank you very much. I actually saw a comment, a note here before the video started, which said, you know, this channel is pointless. Only the scams are good. Well, I understand scams are nice to watch, but this channel was mainly made for people to get around our country or our city, to get their head around it, to understand what it's like. And it was sort of a way how to, I don't want to say fight, but how to figure out a way how to live with the masses of tourism, because it was at a peak where it was very bad for the city. Not bad, but the tourists were not having a good time, nor the locals were having a good time. So we were trying. Somebody's asking about the honest news. I think we should do it too. I think we should do it again, and I hope I will get Honza to make it. All right. Well, I guess I got to the end of it, and I would love to thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you do want to get this book, it will make us happy. Go to honest.blog. We are now tuning to our Patreons live. So if you guys are Patreons, we'll be live in about 10 to 15 minutes. And I cannot wait to open this because if you are a Patreon, you know how it works. We do live streams every week. I'm sorry, every month. You get mini guides, you get Czech lessons, you will get a cooking lesson now because we will teach our Patreons how to make these beautiful buns. What else you get? You get access to my personal account or a close friend's Instagram where we publish stuff we can't publish normally, if you know what I mean, like a story of that sign, and so on. So I'll see you there in a bit. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've seen me, or I don't know, if you've seen this channel for the first time, this may not be the first video to watch, but there are many more. And thank you so much that you guys are still watching our channel, and we love you, and we love Prague, and we love our work, and we want to keep doing it. All right, thank you so much.